Hello everyone and welcome back to another Cupid Parasite. I'm not meant to be on stage, and we're going to be continuing down Allan's route with the Sunday date at the beach. I think this is where, well, I don't think, but so this is the Sunday that Allan promised to take her to the beach under the guise of being her guardian and guardian demon, as I like to say, and hopefully something happens because I think the reincarnated aspect of the route has worn off and we need to move on with his route because things needs to happen. I'm tired of her not knowing anyone and thinking everything is familiar. Anyway, the promised Sunday came. Guilty and I arrived at the beach. Wow.
ほら、走ると危ないよ。よく準備運動して。
It's dangerous to run. You should warm up first. I know. We stretched out together and ran toward the waves. I was wearing my swimsuit so that I could fully enjoy the water. I felt the waves on my feet and smelled the scent of the sea. It feels so good. The water was cold and the sands being dragged out by the waves under my soles felt ticklish. As the tiny breeze ruffled my hair, my mind finally processed that I was at the beach. It's the sea. It's been so long. The last time I visited the sea was when I nearly drowned as a child. From the distant horizon, I feel both endless possibilities and terrifying uncertainty that I might lose everything. If I let myself get distracted for even a second, I'm sure I'm going to get dragged down. I crashed down in the surf and mixed the sand with my fingertips. I could smell the ocean. I picked up a fallen shell and tossed it into the sea. Suddenly, the bracelet on my wrist came into view. Oh no, I forgot to take off the bracelet. When I tried to slide it from my wrist, a shadow fell over me.
それは取らないで。
Guilty placed a hand softly over my hand.
大切にしてるのはいいことだけど、それだけはずっとつけておいた方がいい。
That's not suspicious at all. Huh? But it's made out of rubber, so it might snap and break.
大丈夫。水で切れるほどやわなものじゃないよ。作ったものの思いが込められてるからね。
How strange. Did he know the person who made this bracelet? I wanted to ask him, but I couldn't find it within myself to do so.
ほら、せっかく海に来たんだ。浅いとこばっかりにいないで。こっちにおいで。
Okay. I stood up and stepped in further into the water. Looking out at the sea, I was excited, but also a little afraid. I couldn't help but worry about getting dragged down again. Thinking about what invisible hands might be waiting for me in there, I started to shiver.
ほら、俺の手を取って。
Allan will protect you. He will not let any demons take you. Guilty noticed that I was afraid and reached out for me. I nervously grabbed his hand. Okay. It will be fine. Guilty is with me. With my heart pounding, I slowly walked toward the deeper side. The water came up to my ankles, then my knees, and my hips. I'm scared. What should I do if I start drowning again? I closed my eyes, guided only by Guilty's hand as I stepped deeper into the water. Then he suddenly lifted me up. Huh? When I opened my eyes, I saw that he was using both of his arms to carry me. He was lifting my head above his at a height that I wasn't used to. I grasped onto his shoulder so I didn't fall.
ほら、これで怖くないだろ。
You sure are being very familiar with her not knowing who you are yet. But she probably thinks it's fine because you seem familiar. Guilty was lifting me up like how a father would for a child. It wasn't intimate or sensual or anything like that, so it made me smile naturally. Yeah, I don't feel afraid anymore. As long as he held me, I knew I didn't have to worry about the dark cloud or getting dragged beneath the waves. I've never felt so comfortable before. It almost made me cry. The feeling was totally different from Guile, Austin, or even Clarice. I felt so secure. I discovered I was able to relax with no problem. With Guilty by my side, I knew everything would be alright. The sea is so amazing. With all these waves, it's totally different from a pool. My legs floated through the rippling water. The sensation was so interesting, I wiggled my legs back and forth.
じゃあ次は海の中を覗いてごらん。きっと気に入るからさ。
Why would you open your eyes in salty water? That seems like it would burn really bad in the water. I looked down at the ocean with my hands clutching his shoulders. The surface of the water was glittering in the sunlight so beautifully I let out a gasp. It's so beautiful. I never realized just how clear the water around Lost Stewart could be. Oh hey, over there, a fish. Maybe he didn't mean open her eyes in the water, just look down at it.
そうだね。
Guilty's laugh caused his shoulders to bob. His radiant smile filled my heart with joy.
サンゴとかも綺麗なんだ。潜ってみる？
Yes. As I nodded, Guilty gently let me down. He then took my hand and gently kissed the bracelet on my wrist. The parted lips made me pause. He just kissed my bracelet, but I can feel my entire body pounding.
溺れると危ないからね。
I didn't understand how that would help. Also, I didn't understand why he was so concerned with the bracelet. He probably imbued it with some more powers. Guilty then took the goggles as if nothing happened.
海水は目に染みるから、ゴーグルをつけて覗いてごらん。
Yeah, that's what I would think. He was taking care of me like he would for a small child. Just like from a long time ago. Huh? What do I mean by a long time ago? I thought of it for a second, and then just shrugged, put my goggles on and dove in. Wow. Okay, I was hoping that the sound effects would go away. Going beneath the waves was like entering a different world. Fish of all shapes and colors were swimming in and out of the coral. So beautiful. I looked over at Guilty and our eyes met. He was obviously having as much fun as I was. His kind, compassionate eyes seemed as if he was looking at a beloved family member. Eyes that had fallen in love with. As we were underwater, I couldn't say anything, but I reached out for him. When I touched his arm, a feeling like a bolt of electricity ran through me. A feeling of connection deeper than that of any pair of lovers. It was like a single soul had been split into two. His lips moved as if he was trying to say something. I could see bubbles escaping and making their way up to the surface. I felt as if he called my name. Not my current name, but my true name. The sun was shining bright as I surfaced to breathe. Phew.
どう？楽しかった？
I looked over at Guilty and saw him smiling as he ran his fingers through his hair. It was a different expression than before, the kind of look he only makes when he's off in the distance. Yes, without a doubt it was fun, but I also felt like I was so close to figuring something out. I know, right? You're thinking about true name being split into two. So I just scooped a handful of water and tossed it at him. Because I want him to be his true self. Here. Did I surprise you? I'm going to splash you until you surrender to me.
かわいいことするね。いいよ。遊ぼうか。手加減はしないよ。
He's gonna make you submit. He gave me a raw smile and then splashed water back at me. Ah, that was cold. Why you? It really was cold and pretty salty, but it was still a lot of fun. The water sparkled as it flew through the air and reflected the sun. I realized that I didn't fear the sea anymore. Is that all that's going to happen? I feel like something needs to happen if if he says that this is the last time he's going to spend time with her. We played to our heart's content. I enjoyed the sea as if I was making up for all the lost time. I ate the sandwiches Guilty had bought on the way here and played in the sea for the rest of the day. Before long, the sun started to close in on the horizon. The ocean is just as beautiful at sunset as it is during the day. As the evening cool settled in, we got out of the water, got dressed, and started walking along the beach together. The sand made a pleasant sound as it crushed beneath our feet. I don't want to go home. I want to stay here and look at the sea forever.
海、どうだった？怖くなくなった？
The gentle tone of voice told me just how kind Guilty really was. Let's see. It was fun, and it's not a save, so let's say it wasn't scary. No, it wasn't scary, thanks to you, Guilty. I probably didn't get a leg cramp or didn't get dragged into the water thanks to him. However, I couldn't explain why I felt as though I would find myself in constant danger if he left.
ほらほら。夕日がもうすぐ沈んでいくよ。
Ah. I looked up and saw the red sun slowly dropping to the horizon. Let's see, I think that's probably where it leaves off. You're going to say it was beautiful? No, thanks to you, I was able to view this beautiful scenery. I probably didn't get a leg cramp or didn't get dragged to the water thanks to him. Okay, so that was really quick, short-lived too.
ほらほら。
Alright, we're gonna say it was fun. Now, thanks to you, I was able to have a lot of fun today.
楽しかったか。それはよかった。俺も嬉しいよ。
And it goes back to say the same thing. Okay.
ほらほら。夕日がもうすぐ沈んでいくよ。
Ah. I looked up and saw the red sun slowly dropping to the horizon. The sunset made the surface of the water glitter and shine. Suddenly the memory of those hands came flooding back. Hands, huh? And the white flower crown and the entire pretend wedding. I think I must have put on a wedding here when I was a kid. I was just mumbling to myself when I heard a sharp gasp from behind me. Uh-oh. Huh? I realized I was being hugged from behind. Oh my goodness. You just can't stay away, huh? It's so cute. The hands in front of me were shaking. He's gonna cry. He's gonna make me cry. From behind me, I could hear heavy breaths trying to hold back sobs. Clutching his teeth, Guilty was grunting softly with effort, enduring an anguish that I couldn't see. Was that Guilty? A young man from my memory who doesn't look like him at all, but that look in his eyes is eerily similar. A memory I'd had for the first time. What was that? It almost feels like a memory from a dream, a memory outside of reality. I felt love, loneliness, and frustration all at the same time. The frustration was from feeling that I couldn't quite remember something and getting impatient as a result. I could tell this was something I didn't want to forget, but I still couldn't quite remember it. He eventually let me go.
ごめん。急に抱きしめたりして。
It's alright. I didn't want an apology, just an explanation. Why did you hug me? Or he hugged me. I turned around to ask him, but when I saw his face, I couldn't bring myself to do it. Why not? Because it looked like he was about to start crying. So what? Ask him anyway. I could tell that he didn't want to hear the question, so I just smiled and said nothing. Most likely, I love him, because he makes me feel nostalgic and a good kind of strange. Okay. Maybe my friends wouldn't call that love, but I can't deny that I'm attracted to him. I wanted to tell him that he didn't have to cry. I wanted to hug him and help him carry his burden of loneliness. Maybe these feelings would be better described as protection or fondness. But whatever you call it, it's definitely love. It has to be. Thank you for keeping me company today, Guilty. Because of you, I wasn't afraid of the water, and it's been a long time since I felt that way. Thank you so much.
そっか。よかった。
Are we just going to ignore the hug and all the feelings that everyone's having right now? Like, this annoys me so much. Guilty looked as if he wanted to say something. But I can tell that what he said next wasn't what he truly wanted to say.
じゃあ、帰ろうか。
Can we please say something? Please. I decided I shouldn't be selfish and tell him I'd be lonely if we went our separate ways now. Why not? Because I didn't want to cause any trouble for him or make him look sad. No, but I don't care. Yeah, let's go back. I took his offered hand and we began our journey back. Before long, the sun had dropped beyond the horizon. I should be okay from here.
So?
Yes, my home is nearby. I wonder if he'll stop by. If I ask someone I just met to come back to my place, would Guile be mad? But I should at least make him some coffee to show my appreciation. All kinds of thoughts were whirling around in my head and I suddenly froze up. I couldn't say anything. It seemed like Guilty really did want to leave. He acted really uncomfortable, then took a step back, so I gave him a quick bow and said goodbye. Thanks so much for everything today.
じゃあ、元気で。
Please stop him. Dang it. I waved my hands and watched Guilty walk away. I watched his receding back until he finally left. That's so annoying. Like, I was sure something was going to happen. Maybe she follows you. I entered the store's first floor of the house, threw my keys on the counter, and sat down on the bed. I infused my power into the bracelet today, so I shouldn't have to watch her closely. Besides, it was a fun day. I wish this could last forever. But the sun set and the day ended. I wanted to be alone to accept that.
Tinette.
I didn't realize how painful it was to leave her behind. She looked as though she wanted to converse with me more, and I wanted to indulge her. But if I gave in to my desires again, then all my efforts would have been useless. I love her. I want to be with her and take care of her. However, those selfish wants would just be a hindrance to my goal.
バカだな。俺は。
そうね。あなたはバカだわ。
She's like, yep, yes you are. Usually I go back and reread that, but there wasn't much else he was going to say, I'm sure, if anything. I looked up and noticed glowing eyes in the dark. It was Clarice.
見てたの？
ええ。あなたが調子乗ってあの子と遊んでるところをね。近寄らないで見守るって言ったじゃない。
If I got close to her and provoked her, she might regain her memories. I intended to stay away from her to prevent that. She's already getting memories, like you already failed. Reclaiming memories from a previous life, that would lead to the soul from this life replacing the previous one. Which means she'd probably revert back to her previous life as Cupid and become a god again. That's just how miraculous her life as a human has been. Even a slight change in balance as she could become Cupid again. That's the true power of the soul of a god. I understood all of that all too well. Oh, really?
わかってる。もう二度と彼女の前には現れないようにするよ。
I think he's a god. I really do think so.
それが賢明な判断ね。キューピッドの記憶を取り戻したら、また深海に連れて行かれるかもしれないもの。
And if that happens, it really is all over. She'll have to work as Cupid until the day she disappears for good. I can't let that happen. That is why I won't get near her. The moment I entertained the thought of never meeting her ever again, I felt a pain so raw it made me consider death a sweet relief. It hurt so much. No, why can't I meet her? I was searching for her for so long, and I was finally able to meet her.
バカだ。俺は。
I never felt this kind of emotion when I was searching for her. I wanted to protect her like a father or a brother. I had no thoughts of ever approaching her. Where did the sudden desire to indulge my emotions and be with her come from? It probably started when I fell in love with her thanks to the Cupid's bow. Everything started going crazy at that moment. Loving and being loved was such a fulfilling feeling, I totally lost sight of my objective.
違う。感情がこんなに厄介なものだなんてずっと知らなかったんだ。
From the day I fell and became a demon, I've been ignoring all emotion. So I had no clue that I wouldn't be able to control them once I did start feeling them.
リネット。
Every time I called out her name, the pain surged in my body.
リネット
I need to let my love go.
リネット
I love you, which is why I have to kill off my own emotions.
分かってる。もう二度と彼女の前には現れない。
I once again muttered this promise to myself. Clarice had no words left to say. Looking for lost time. It's funny, they have to make it like all dramatic.
ジュノがいない?
Oh, it's Jupiter. Back to what I was saying, they have to make it so dramatic and then like, I must never see her again. I must cut off all emotions, all ties. And then the next section, they're like, oh, I just can't. There's just no way I can't. Anyway, Jupiter is here. I'm very curious now. I forget who Juno is, though.
あれは昔から奔放だ。ただ人間界へ行っていただけだと思っていたが。
ついに反応が消えて、シングがここへ帰ってきたってわけね。
Oh, is Juno Cupid's other name?
結婚の神ジュノーが消えた。
Oh, never mind.
キューピッドのみならずジュノーまで。
これは由々しき事態だ。早急に対応しなければならない。
I love his voice actor. His voice actor is so good. I need to read more Pure 4A so I can listen to it. Oh, is that all we get of Celestia? Dang it. I need more. A week has passed since the trip to the beach. Oh, really? Dang, it's been a long time. I tilted my head as I looked at my phone. No reply yet. He's not gonna talk to you. You lost your chance. Like, why did you let him go? Last week I sent Guilty an email, but I hadn't received an answer yet. He must be busy. I was a little bummed as I had proposed we go watch a movie together. I want to get to know him a little more. Maybe a college student is like a child to him. Maybe he doesn't like me. It's not like I confessed to him yet, but perhaps he got bored of me already. I sighed as I looked at my phone and noticed an online ad. An urban legend about dreams. I tapped on it to take a look and it mentioned an urban legend based specifically in Lost York. Apparently there's been a surge in dreams that are better than reality according to the people having them.
夢っていいですよね。裏切らないし。最高の状態を見せてくれるし。
Huh? What was that? My heart was pounding and I carefully looked at my phone. A strange sense of awkwardness, of deja vu. What's going on? Huh. I touched my neck and felt something metallic. When I looked down, I saw that I was wearing a necklace with some kind of bow and arrow design. Huh? What is this necklace? Oh. She's never had it on before? I tried to take it off, but I couldn't. Oh no. You're Cupid again. Huh, it won't come off. Seriously, what on earth is going on? What was it? Where did it come from? I was lost in a complete mystery. Well, I guess it's fine for now. I mean, it is pretty cute after all. Maybe it's just a class being difficult. I'll ask Claire to take it off for me later. She can't touch it though. I touched the necklace with my fingertips. It felt strangely familiar. Here we go again. All the familiar stuff. Are you going to notice? I sighed as I glanced at my phone. This entire past week I haven't responded to a single message from her since we went our separate ways. But I'm always by her side, hiding on rooftops watching from a distance. So I know that she's sad that I didn't respond. Ignoring her is the most heartbreaking thing I'd ever had to do. Well, you should... if you're not going to be around her anymore, I mean, I know he wants to, like, make sure she stays alive, but... I don't know. I don't think I could do that to myself.
早く ガエルかオースティンあたりと仲良くなって俺のことを忘れさせないとな。インキュバスとして彼女の夢に入るか。いや、それじゃダメだ。
She'd probably dream of you. An incubus appears as the person that the target loves. If she doesn't love either of them already, then I wouldn't be able to take their form.
難しいな、縁結びは。
After all my efforts, I found myself admiring her ability to connect people. When she worked at Cupid Corp, she never used her divine artifact and still had no trouble with matchmaking people up. I recall wanting to copy her methods, which reminded me to see how she was doing. When I saw her, I felt my heart drop. Uh-oh. Somehow her Cupid's bow pendant was back around her neck.
なんで今彼女は人間のはずなのに。
There could only be one reason. She touched me, so her memories of the past are coming back. If her previous soul keeps getting stronger, she'll become a god again. I have to stop that from happening.
誰かに恋をさせるよりも先に記憶を封印した方が良さそうだな。
Don't do that. But how to do that? I could probably find some way about it in the Book of Vanquishing. The Book of Vanquishing was written by a truly powerful demon about the gods themselves. It was written in the hopes of someday getting revenge on the gods, so there must be something about erasing the god's memory. But I can only read it in my demon form, and only when I'm alone. I've been committing sins to help speed things along. But I'll have to return to the underworld too. The book can't be taken to any other realm.
待ってろ、キネット。俺が忘れさせてみせるから。
You know, from my previous experience, all of these things usually never work out in the person's favor. The more you try to prevent something, the more likely it happens. I'll erase your memories of guilty and try to cover up your godly soul with that of a human. Then everything can go back to the way it's supposed to be. I need to make up for all of my stupid mistakes.
俺がいない間、彼女のことはクラリスに守ってもらうしかないな。また文句を言われるだろうが。
Even then, she's always been willing to help when it comes to her, probably because they really are friends.
とにかく急いでメーカーへ帰らないと。手遅れになる前に。
I unleashed my full power as a demon. It was time to leave her side and head off to the underworld. One day during a seminar, I blinked when I saw the form the professor had handed out. A seminar trip.
ああ、今年はギリシャへ行くぞ。あそこは遺跡の宝庫だからな。
Sounds really boring, actually. I see. By joining the seminar, I get to go on such an amazing trip. I'm so looking forward to this. Hopefully we don't have to read about it. Guile, Austin, and Claris aren't in the seminar, so it's a little sad, but I'm still excited to go. When I was reading about her and Raoul going to like the dig site and whatnot, it was really boring to read until he started like pancrashing naked. That was kind of funny. Anyway. My first seminar trip, it'll be a good opportunity to get to know my classmates.
やったー！俺海で泳ぎたかったんだ。
ちょっと遺跡を調査しに行くんだから遊ぶんじゃないのよ。
そうだぞ。とはいえせっかくのギリシャだ。水着を持っていくといいかもしれんな。
教授公認じゃん。じゃあこの自由時間で泳げるやつは海行こうぜ。
The beach. Look at her face. Looking at my phone again and seeing the lack of responses hurt my heart. Guilty was so caring and kind at the beach state. I wonder what he is doing right now. You should have talked to him.
サンドイッチ買ってきたんだ。お腹減っただろ。
It's your own fault.
コーヒーを買ってこようか。ああ。でも君を一人にはできないな。
Did he say all this? I don't remember.
最近 困ったことや悩みはない。そっか。よかった。
I think she's just remembering some conversations that we weren't actually privy to. He really took care of me. I really don't want to think that he doesn't like me anymore. I don't know where he lives or works, so there's no way for me to see him. My heart hurt realizing what a distant figure he'd become. It would be best if I could just forget about him. I'm not ready to give up just yet. Maybe if I bought him something special from Greece, would that do the trick? Or maybe this is all one big nuisance for him. I just can't figure out how he feels. It'd be so much easier if he could just tell me if I'm bothering him. I looked around and saw everyone discussing the trip. I tried to shove my feelings deep down inside and join the conversation. As soon as I returned to the underworld, I headed where the Book of Vanquishing was stored. I thought my wing, looking around, and sighed.
やっぱり、ここの空気は馴染むな。最悪だよ。
When I first came here, I was disgusted by the smell of rot permeating throughout, but now it's the best place for my body to rest. But that's why I didn't want to go back here, because it would be a disgusting reminder that I don't live in the same place she lives.
早く読んで、戻らないとな。彼女も心配だし。
I asked Claire to look after her, but I'm still worried. The Book of Vanquishing has existed for tens of thousands of years. There are dozens of different editions. It's also written in a demonic language, so it's a challenge to read.
せめて、持ち出しができればいいんだけどな。
Suddenly, I smelled a scent that was wholly unfamiliar to me.
なんだ？妙な気配がする。
Sounds like some kind of god descending. The scent was similar to that of a god, but then it faded away.
神がここにいたのか。いや、消滅したのか。
Probably like Jupiter or something. I felt a creeping, chilling sensation in my neck. It was like something was watching me. Then the unwelcome feeling disappeared quickly.
気のせいか。
I looked around and saw a goat's horn and lit a fire.
そういえば、もうすぐサバトの時期か。始まる前には帰らないとな。
During a Sabbath, the darkness of the world becomes even stronger. The power of gods wanes while the demons come into their own. The border between the living and the dead becomes thinner. Some know it as Walpurgis Night. With the Sabbath drawing near, I can't help but worry about leaving her side.
あの子にはブレスレットを持たせているし、クラリスもそばにいる。だから、大丈夫だ。
So what, she's gonna go to the seminar or something way out of his reach and he's gonna have to follow her and something bad's gonna happen, he's gonna be forced to show himself again. I keep telling myself that, but I still have the intense urge to return to the human realm. I clasp my hands together and look out at the library.
感情で目的を見失うな、アラン・メルヴィル。サバトまでに帰れば大丈夫なはずだ。
I repressed the urge to return that instant and head toward the library. The most important thing for me is to erase her memories. A few days later, yep, she's at Greece. Oh my goodness. Everyone from the seminar came to Greece. I have to read it. Wow, such a beautiful sea. Yeah. I am walking down the streets of Greece with my new friends from the seminar.
早くあの海で泳ぎてえな。
3日目の自由時間までのお楽しみだな。じゃあまずはパルメザン神殿へ行くぞ。これは基礎中の基礎だからな。しっかり装飾などを見るように。歩きやすい靴を持ってきていないやつらはここで買っておくんだぞ。
We began walking towards the Parmian temple. Feeling the wind in a new country for the first time, I was overwhelmed by everything. Wow, amazing. It's so different from Lost York. I bet you she's going to learn something about the gods. It's just going to trigger. Hopefully. Hopefully something will happen. Even the sea, the color is different. Greece's sea was cobalt blue. Suddenly I felt a sharp pain deep within my heart. Greece's sea is beautiful, but I honestly prefer the memory of my beach date with Guilty. When I see this sea, it reminds me of him. I was completely and seriously in love. Love at first sight. Oh look, it's the dig site. We had arrived at Parmian Temple.
ではみんな、ここの柱に注目してくれ。これはドーリア式建築で作られており、
The goddess Athena was worshipped here, also known as Minerva. You gonna get a Minerva flashback? A grimace as the sudden headache shot through my skull. I felt a similar pain during the discussion at the seminar. What was that? I am almost unable to remember something.
大丈夫？時差ボケで疲れた？
I think I said unable, but I'm almost able. Yeah, maybe. She must be right. I think it's jet lag. But looking at the temple was making me feel worried. I reached up to touch my necklace. I need to hurry. But hurry to what? My memories are getting all mixed up. I feel like I can hardly catch my breath. I need to just concentrate on the professor's lecture. Shook my head to clear it and tried to focus on the professor. Then I looked at the temple again, and I got restless all over again. I couldn't concentrate on the tour at all.
あれ？あの子は？
Does she not even know that she's going?
ん？聞いてない？あの子今ゼミ合宿に行ってるよ。確か行き先はギリシャだったかな。
You're in trouble now.
は？ゼミ合宿？ギリシャに行っちゃったの？冗談じゃないわ。一人でそんな場所行って早く追いかけないと。面倒見てって頼まれてるんだから。
Good luck, Clarice. During free time on the third day. You're gonna drown, aren't you? She's gonna get attacked in the water. I was walking around in the city in Greece. Everyone else was at the beach. I declined to go and came to the city instead. Well, there you go. I wanted to keep my memories of Guilty within me a little longer. I was afraid that if I went, I'd overwrite my memories of him in the sea. That's why I didn't go. Besides, I might drown again. Again. Like, drowning is something you could do more than once. My time in the ocean was incident-free because Guilty was there. I truly believe that. Perhaps it can be chalked up to coincidence, but it was the fact that something would always happen to me when I swam. Oh, that mug over there is cute. If I bought it for him as a gift, would he like it? I walked around the city looking for souvenirs. That earring is cute too. I wonder if it'll look good on me. I took the earring. I found a nearby mirror to check my reflection. I then realized my necklace was missing. How is it missing? Hey, it's gone again. Oh, it should just come and go, I guess. I felt around my neck and couldn't find it. The weird necklace was gone as quick as it appeared. It's so strange. It comes and goes like a light bulb about to go out. In recent days, there were times when the necklace would be around my neck and other times when it wouldn't. It was like something was flipping a switch to make it appear and disappear. This is why I hadn't been able to show it to Clarice yet. Whenever I tried to ask her to help me take it off, it would be gone. Maybe I'm just tired. I might just be seeing things. Maybe perhaps the necklace never existed. Ah! I bumped into someone and nearly fell over. I somehow managed to catch myself from falling, but... Huh? A rubber bracelet must have caught on the person's clothing as it snapped off my wrist. Oh no. The cobalt blue and white bands fell all over the ground. Got to be kidding. I need to hurry and gather them. This is my precious bracelet that I had since childhood. I can't let go of it just because it ripped. Besides, Guilty warned me that I should always wear it and even kissed it. I was hurrying to pick up the pieces, but there was something off about the person who bumped me. It had eerie eyes. Something is wrong with that person, as if he's possessed. As then suddenly a strong wind blew and I was knocked to the ground. Ah! My shoulder hit the ground, knocking the wind out of me. Ow. I raised my face into a blast of wind and froze. Oh no. I saw the same dark cloud that I've seen in the water. But no, this was different. It wasn't just a cloud. Oh no. From out of the dark cloud came, it was a demon straight out of a horror movie. Dan knew something would happen, and while she was away at Greece, he's going to be forced to come and show himself. Probably in demon form too. Huh? No. I got up and started running as fast as I could. But the demon was hot on my heels. What does that mean, Sabbath? I had to find somewhere to run to, but where? If it really was a demon, then maybe a church? But why am I suddenly being attacked? I didn't have a clue. I did know, however, that it was all over if I got caught. I need to hurry. I need to hurry up and run. That's pretty... That's a lot of dedication. There's 3 of them now. I was surrounded by a trio of demons. There was nowhere for me to run. They reached out for me and suddenly the ground split up and opened. Oh. Deep within the rift I saw a horrifying scene. Oh my goodness. The underworld. It was a world without hope, a world that smelled like burning and death. Hell, the inferno, the underworld, all these names came to mind. A throng of hands appeared and grabbed my legs. They started dragging me down to the ground. No, no! Someone help me! Guilty! There was nobody to hear my screams. The world I knew slowly grew more and more distant. In the end, I'd finally been captured by the dark cloud that I'd spent so much time of my life fearing and running from. In a last-ditch effort, I tried clinging to the stone street. But I was no match for the 3 demons, and I was dragged into the depths. Well, you're too late. Oh my goodness. Where am I? The demons were quickly hauling me away. I didn't know where I was, but what I did know is that it was the birthplace of the dark cloud. Torches had been lit, goats had been sacrificed. I learned about this in the history class. A Sabbath, a meeting of demons. But I thought that was just some made-up fantasy story. Everything I thought I knew about truth and past was crumbling in front of me. The screams and shouts of demons were all around me. There was at least 10 of them in total. Oh, whatever. Allan will find her. I know he will. The demon bared its fangs and reached out toward me. No, please. I wanted to fend them off, but my arms and legs were held tight. I couldn't move a muscle. Their long claws were primed to tear my clothes apart. Oh my goodness. Their disgusting tongues, their fangs sharper than any wolves, came slowly closer. I'm going to die. I'm going to be devoured whole. Ah! Here it comes. Here it goes. Huh? Just before the fangs could sink into my flesh, I felt the embrace of a pair of warm hands. These hands. Oh, I was hoping for a CG. Dang it. I know these hands. They belong to Guilty.
Usero.
Oh man, he's like, you better leave. What are you doing here? We haven't seen like his lower half yet. Is that like fur or something around him? Like, I'm curious. It doesn't matter what you earned. If a greater demon wants to take it away, he can take it away.
こえなかったのか。うせろって言ってるんだ。
Look at those eyes. The voice itself was low and calm, but his anger rippled through the air, spreading across the area. The other demons gnashed their teeth and eventually slinked away without further confrontation. Then it was just me and him. Before me stood a demon. Fierce winds howled all around us. What are you doing here?
君は俺を知らないはずだよ。人違いだ。
Oh, whatever. You look and sound like him. He stared at me with ice-cold eyes, but beneath his cool gaze was a sign of deep relief. Even 100 horns and wings couldn't disguise that sparkle in his eye. It was the same glint I saw in the person that rescued me at the pool who took me to the beach. It was Guilty standing before me.
ここは人間のあんたがいていい場所じゃない。戻るよ。捕まって。
Guilty lifted me up, then launched us both into the air. Guilty, no, that's not your real name. I'm sure he has another name, but it wasn't coming to me. Who are you really? Who have you been all this time? Please find out. Like, it would be anticlimactic if she just saved and then that's it. He leaves. No, we're in another section. We don't have a CG yet. Dang it. Kinder than anyone. Okay, let me take a minute to like vent here. Like, what was the point of all that? Got us all hyped up that she's finally being kidnapped by demons. Something's gonna happen. They finally got her. Allan shows up, scares them away, and then takes her back. We don't have a CG. We don't have any confrontation. She doesn't remember anything. And now we're back to where we started like 5 minutes ago. Like, that was literally like a 5-minute scene. I don't understand. That could have been so much more, and I was so hyped up about it, but now we're just whatever. Anyway. Huff. 15. I was able to get back to Greece thanks to Guilty. I am back, now we know. With a sense of great relief, I fell to the ground.
ここまで来れば大丈夫か。
Don't let him leave. Like, it was already anticlimactic enough. Guilty releases a deep sigh and then looks at me.
ブレスレットはどこへやった？
She broke it. How did you know? If you said you'd never met, then how would you know about the bracelet? It got caught in the clothes of the person who bumped into me and ripped off.
人間を使って壊したのか。下級悪魔のくせに知恵が回るな。新しいものを渡しておけばよかったか。
You know, for someone who's pretending like they don't know each other, he sure does a really bad job about it. He just talks out loud about how he should have given her a new one.
まあいいよ。そんな顔しなくて。どうせもう君は忘れるんだ。俺のことをすべてさっぱりね。
What?
メーカーへ行って探してきたんだ。君の記憶を消す方法。人間として生きられる方法を。
You know, I wanted to edit this and release it tonight, but if it's going to be like an hour and a half, like I don't even know if I could stay up that long to edit it. Guilty looks at me with a sneer.
俺は悪魔だ。君の前にも姿を現すつもりはなかった。ただ不慮の事故でね。
She would say it's a coincidence.
予定していないことだった。だから触れ合った時間をなくすんだ。俺は悪魔。君は人間だからね。そうだよ。悪い悪魔なんだ。
That's what she remembers. That's funny. The words of someone familiar came rushing back. Who was that?
君には付きまとわれたくない。もう、おもりはうんざりなんだよ。
He said it in a way that clearly meant to hurt me, and also to hurt himself. He laughed just like before.
悪魔っていうのはね、人間を糧に生きる悪い存在なんだ。神が来やすく近づいてはならないんだよ。
I definitely heard him use that tone of voice before. He was being harsh to try and warn me in his own way. Because he's a kind person, I've always known that. At the same time, it wasn't Guilty's voice. That's not the voice I was remembering. I know. I was with him when he wasn't what he is now. What I remember is... a night with him? Oh my. Let's see, what's the right answer? Aw. Well, the answer is a save file, and the answer is a kiss with him. I wanted to see what he would say to a night with him, but it's a save file, so we have to wait until the endings to find out. Save file 3. And what we remember is our passionate kiss with you in the rain. I remember now. His name isn't Guilty. His real name is... Allan. Uh-oh. When I called his name, he was aghast. He took a few steps back, his expression registering nothing but despair.
そんな。思い出したのか。
Yes, I remember now. Your name is Allan, and you are an incubus. And also the fact that I am Cupid. I remember everything now. I reached for my neck, confirming that the Cupid's bow necklace was back. Its flickering pendant was a divine artifact of a god, bearing golden and leaden arrows. The reason it was unstable was probably because I was half human. But now that my memories have returned, I'm no longer a regular human. Allan, did you turn me into a human? You've been caught. He had a sad, pain look in his eyes. It spurred memories of his words the day he stuck the knife into me. If you continue on as Cupid, your soul will eventually disappear, which is why... He said there was no other choice. Allan used a demonic artifact to extract my soul, then I became a human. I was living an oblivious human life, never knowing that I used to be a goddess until I became a college student. Maybe Allan did all of this as a way to prolong my life. Allan, all this time, you were doing everything to protect me, to keep me from disappearing. Ever since I became a human, I always had good luck. Like falling over before getting into an accident or somehow surviving a drowning incident.
でも、確かに悪魔は当たり前にいる存在なんだ。そして、悪魔にとって神様の魂はとっておきのごちそうなんだ。
That is what Allan told me. You've always been protecting me because demons are attracted to my soul, right? Ever since I started working at Cupid Corp 20 years before I reincarnated.
随分と都合のいい解釈だね。悪魔の言葉を神が信じるだなんて。
You're trying to be like strong and sound sinister, but your voice quivering is giving you away. Yeah, see, Allan tried to sound annoyed, but it was easy to see that it was just an act. It was obvious that he was in pain. He was always a terrible liar. I could always see right through him, and it was clear that he hadn't changed.
俺はあんたを利用しようと思ってたんだよ。キューピッドの矢を奪いたくってね。
Then you should have just taken it from me.
悪魔には触れなかったんだ。だから、そう、封印したのさ。そうすりゃ人間界はおかしくなる。
Whatever, you're still like about to cry. He was working so hard to come up with any excuse he could. He was struggling so hard to hide his true feelings. I know, right?
俺は上級悪魔さ。人間の世界を混沌に落とし込み、神を困らせたかっただけ。消滅させないため。バカじゃないのか。君は特別バカなキューピッドだから、俺は。
His smirk suddenly vanished, and he looked like he was about to cry. I know, right? You really are stubborn, aren't you? Even when lying to hurt me, you would help in the long run. You just can't do it. If you really were a terrible demon that could only sin, you'd be a lot better at deceiving people. You don't have to act like you're evil, just be your kind self and fool me properly. But you can't, because you really are a kind person. Allan, you're such a terrible liar. It's okay, you don't have to keep on trying.
何を
No matter what you say, you can't hurt me, because I know just how much you care about me. I know how kind you are, and I know your lies are only meant to protect me. After all, we lived together for 30 days. You protected me while you were guilty too. You can't fake that kind of kindness. That type of kindness. When I smiled at last, his false toughness fell apart.
なんでそんなことを言うんだよ。
Allan was almost muttering to himself. I could practically see the tears welling up in his eyes.
思い出してほしくなかった。人間のままでいてほしかったのに。なんで騙されてくれないんだ。どうして俺は君にだけは嘘をつけないんだ。
Because you're in love with her.
たくさんの人間を騙してきた。同じようにすればよかったはずなのに。
He covered his face and balled his hands up into fist.
俺はバカなんだ。いつだって君に手を伸ばしてしまう。それが最悪の手段だって分かっていながら、君が会いたいって言ったら会わずにはいられない。君が海を見たいと言ったら連れて行かずにはいられない。君の願いをできる限り叶えたかったから。
Are you gonna take that as your declaration, Lynette?
でもそれが君の魂を呼び覚ますだろうって分かっていたはずなのに。
Now his fist started to shake. He wanted me with every fiber of his being, and at the same time he bitterly regretted those feelings. But I've missed you so much. I don't want to ever forget you.
それでも君が人間として生きることが、人間として幸せになってくれることが、
And all she's ever wanted was to come back to you.
俺の望みだったんだ。
Oh, I almost hit the next button. I'm glad I did. Allan shook his head weakly. His voice was shaking and a single tear trickled down his cheek.
言っただろう。君はこのままじゃ消滅する。十二神以外の神は全て使い捨てなんだ。
Disposable?
はあ、何度も君たちキューピッドは代替わりしていたんだ。俺は君の先代のキューピッドを知っている。見たことがあるんだ。
The Cupid before me.
キューピッドが入れ替わっていくと俺は知って、それから新薬転覆の書を読んで他の神たちすら使い捨てだと知った。キューピッドだけじゃない、ナイキもミューズも、十二神以外の神は消滅すれば補充されるだけ、ただの消耗品でしかないんだ。
I wanted to believe it wasn't true, but at the same time, I couldn't really deny it. There were plenty of stories about Cupid that didn't seem like me. The one between Cupid and Sight seemed oddly specific. I always thought it was kind of strange.
だから君の心が宿った魂と神であるキューピッドの自覚を切り離す方法をずっと探していた。そうすれば君は完全な人間になり、悪魔に狙われなくなるから。神でもなくなり、深海に連れ戻されないから。でも見つからなかった。 神の魂は強力で君の自我と深く融合していたから。キューピッドの君は君そのものだった。別離は許されなかったんだ。
Well, after all, that was my job as Cupid.
でも最初からそうだったわけじゃない。だから俺は元に戻そうと。
Allan cried out, but then suddenly snapped his mouth shut. Allan, there's something I've been wanting to ask you ever since you stabbed me. Yep, she wasn't like that in the beginning, so what was she? We need to know. I wanted to get closer to his heart, so I took a step forward. But then he took another step backward. But why? Oh, we're doing another one so soon? Oh my goodness. Why do you help me? We're going to say why do you look so sad first. Allan, why do you look so sad? Have we met each other before? I'm forgetting something really important, aren't I? He kept his distance away from me and tried to force a strong smile.
君は忘れてていい。たとえかつて会っていたとしても、そいつはもういない。
Alright, let's see if that is far enough. Why do you help me? Allan, why do you help me? Have we met each other before? Who were we? Allan just smiled with his sadness on his face. He stood there with those kind eyes, keeping that small distance between us. I recognized his expression of self-loathing. His smile was nothing but bravado.
君が知る必要はないよ。思い出さなくていい。俺はもうこんなに汚れてしまった。
I'm just going to take a guess and say that this is probably the next line that would have been after you don't need to know about that.
たとえかつて会っていたとしても、そいつはもういない。
That's basically the same extent, he said.
ここにいるのは汚れたインキュバス。人間の夢を食らう悪魔だ。だから頼む。思い出さないでくれ。
He said this with an imploring voice. I couldn't remember anything, but I could still feel his anguished emotions. We had met each other before. Back then, maybe he and I cared for each other dearly. That's why he's trying to keep me from disappearing as a Cupid. He became a greater demon and doesn't want me to know. Despite the fact that he's been protecting me for ages.
おいで、リネット。
With a look of determination, Allan called my name. His tone was soft and sweet, exactly the kind of voice a demon would use to seduce a human. But his face was completely sincere. There's no point in him acting like a demon anyway. I already know just how kind he really is.
3度目の正直だ。今度こそ君を人間にする。
How do you think you're going to do that, though? He says that, but he still looks like he's about to cry. A kind, stubborn person couldn't fully become a demon. I don't want him to suffer trying to protect me. If I have to live without my memories of him, I'd rather just disappear. Because if I forget about him, he'll be a pain until the day he dies. What do you mean he'll be a pain? Oh, in pain. Okay, I misread that. I opened my arms wide and embraced him. Allan, it's okay.
何を言って。
I don't want to live without ever having known you. It's okay now. I've lived long enough. After all, I spent several hundred years as Cupid. It was a fulfilling life. So please just forget about me. Think of yourself and try to find happiness.
なんて。そんな。ダメだ。君がいなければ。俺は
Tears were streaming down Allan's cheeks. I hugged him as hard as I could, as if I might break him in half.
やだ、君を消滅させたくない。生きていてほしいんだ。頼むから。
Allan. I held him close and listened to the beat of his heart. It felt like a memory from long ago. Hey, are you really Allan? Where were we? I loved your smile so much, I always tried to make you laugh. We chased each other through the grass, we played hide and seek. We even had a pretend wedding. We held each other just like this and laughed until we couldn't breathe. Just a little more. Just a bit more and I'll be able to remember. Oh. Oh, that scared me. Is it Jupiter? Just as that moment, there was a sudden flash and an ear-splitting crash of thunder. Oh no. Yeah, the love between a goddess and a demon is forbidden, right? Ah. Oh no. Oh. Both of us were knocked to the ground. I tried to roll onto my back. Why would a bolt of lightning strike here out of nowhere? No, not just a normal bolt of thunder. It has to be Jupiter. Look at those wings!
Cupid. 探していた.
He's like, I found you! Lord Jupiter, what are you?
20年近くもの間、シングの反応が消え、ずっと探していた。だが、ようやく見つけた。
Is this Jupiter's theme song? I've noticed that every time, well, I mean, I've noticed this a long time ago, but every time someone is talking, there's a theme song associated with that person. Anyway, this is Jupiter's theme song. It's pretty catchy, actually.
Cupid. 共に深海へ帰ろう.
No, we don't want to go. With a surprisingly kind voice, he reached out to me. Suddenly, a single large wing blocked my way. Oh no. Oh my goodness.
連れて行かせない。どうせあんたたちはこの子が消滅するまで使うんだろう。
He's defying Jupiter. Oh my goodness. Now I'm excited again.
お前はインキュバスか。神に手を出して許されると思っているのか。
許しなんて俺は望んでいない。罰を下したければ下せばいい。だが、この子は渡さない。
With him yelling that like that, his voice actor sounds familiar too. I'll have to look that up. Okay, the answer is no. No, I don't recognize him. I would say it was because like he's been in a few other Otome games, but I haven't read those either. So he just sounds like someone that I've heard before. Allan stood between us, protecting me and openly defying Lord Jupiter. But now he's in trouble all over again. Lord Jupiter is the almighty god of all gods. He stands above all of the gods with absolute power. He controls the human realm and basically everything else. Not even the rest of the Dai Constantins would defeat him in open combat. Ah, I know. My Cupid's bow.
Cupid. それを使ってはならない.
What were you going to do? Make him fall in love with someone? Even as I heard him call my name, he already had my hands held within his own. Oh my goodness. Huh? There wasn't even a moment to blink. It was like a totally silent lightning strike, which could make sense, all things considered. A second ago, Allan was protecting me, and now Lord Jupiter had me in his grasp. I couldn't move. I was fully and completely his captive. Lord Jupiter rarely raised his voice in anger, but his strength was so great there was no way I could make him release me.
いつの間に。
Oh no.
これで分かっただろう。おとなしく冥界へ帰れ。私が手を下す前に。
できるかよ。ディレット。
Allan's eyes glittered, and suddenly a powerful wind began to blow.
悪魔の実で私に逆らうか。
He's not just any mere demon, he was once a very important person.
もう二度と渡したくないんだ。
Never again? What do you...
その手を離せ。
Allan opened up his wing to his full length and unleashed his demonic power. A gust came through, and something I couldn't see launched itself at Lord Jupiter. However, Lord Jupiter simply waved his hand and the wind disappeared. Why did it sound like breaking glass? Allan launched his assault again and again, but every attempt was thwarted easily. Allan. It's funny. This sinister music and Jupiter's voice makes me think of his character in Pure Fury, who is a mafia boss and a really evil one at that. He plays the evil role perfectly. Not that he's evil here, but just the sound of his voice and the sinister music just makes him sound like it. None of Allan's attacks could even come close to him. The power of a demon really was nothing compared to the almighty Lord Jupiter. But no matter how hard he tried, none of Allan's attacks reached him. Meanwhile, I noticed Lord Jupiter tightening his own grip on his spear. There was no way Allan could win. He was just going to die here. Allan, please, just run. Why can't we hear her name? I don't understand. Uh-oh. He knows.
すまない。だが、キューピッドを世界から失わせるわけにはいかない。
He's saying he's sorry to an incubus?
神の力を奪うことは大罪だ。お前なら分かっているだろう。
You of all people, who is he? Dang it.
あいにく、俺は悪魔なんでね。大罪に怯えるような生き物じゃない。罪を犯すのが勝負なんだ。
He's obviously a fallen god, but which god? Dang it.
分かったら、キューピッドを返せ。あんたらにその子を奪わせない。
Take her back there.
私はジュピター、リーコンセンテスの主神だ。天と地の断りを私自ら否定することはできぬ。
You know what, just in case I want to use this one instead, I think I do, instead of the one with her in it. They're speaking in a, what is it called? In a decrypted message that only they know and we don't understand.
歯向かわずに一目散に逃げていればよかったもの。
Lord Jupiter's voice was filled with melancholy as he raised his hand towards the heavens. Uh-oh. In the next moment, Allan was struck by a bolt of lightning. Allan!
Cupid, ダメだ!
Uh-oh. Let go of me! Allan! Allan! My love is suffering. He's going to die. I have to save him. No. I don't want to be away from him ever again. I let go of his hand once before. Uh-oh. She was remembering. Oh, I forgot they were in Greece. I'm like, where are we at now? What was that? There was once a time where I couldn't keep hold of his hand, where I had to let go. If I don't do something, I'll never be able to hold it again. Bolt after bolt struck him over and over again. Finally, he slowly began to collapse. Our eyes met. I'm curious. Hold on one second. Save file 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay. There's 3 sections left after this, so that's probably going to be the last episode. This is the second to last episode. He was trying to tell me not to worry. I couldn't believe that even now he was still only thinking of me. Allan! Allan! I reached out my hands, but I grasped only air. Lord Jupiter scooped me up and flew away. How dare you? Let her go. Laying on the ground, Allan looked up towards me. He weakly reached out his hand for me, but the distance was too great. I would never touch his hands again. Once again, we were being separated. but we were able to meet again. He sought me out. Why must it be like this? He's so important to me. All I know is that I never want to be away from him again. Despite all my struggling, Lord Jupiter easily returned me back to Celestia. Let go of me. Oh my goodness. Surprisingly, he did what I asked. Oh really? Just as he opened his mouth to say something, I heard running footsteps from behind me.
Cupid!
無事でよかったわ。私たち失敗してたのよ。
Mom, Dad. As Mom and Dad hugged me, my heart flooded with memories. I quickly distanced myself from them. All I could think about was Allan. I had to get back as soon as I could. He looked like he was injured really badly. Mom, Dad, I'm sorry, but I have to return to the human realm.
Cupid! 何を言って。
Someone really important to me is hurt. Please, I'll come back as soon as I can.
ダメよ、キューちゃん。あなたは悪魔に騙されているんだから。
Oh, whatever. Aunt Minerva. I looked around and saw Lady Minerva, goddess of knowledge and war.
キューちゃん、なんて呼ぶんだった？
Why does she not like that? I don't understand. Oh, my apologies. I meant Lady Minerva, of course. But what do you mean I was deceived?
あなたは悪魔に見入られているのよ。それがあいつらのやり方。騙されてはダメよ。
You don't know the full story?
うん。悪魔は恐ろしい存在だ。人の魂を喰らい、神にあだなす存在。触れ合えばお前でも打点するだろうな。
But he's been helping me and looking out for me for so long.
ロース、ダメよ。悪魔と私たち神は相入れない存在なの。中世の頃、それはもうたくさん争ったのよ。それにこの冥界の匂い。キューちゃん、もしかしてサバトに連れて行かれたんじゃない？
Yes, but it was an accident.
でも、サバトへ行ったなら分かったでしょ？悪魔は神の魂さえも食おうとするんだって。
Allan is one that rescued me.
大方、自分の獲物を取られたくなかっただけだろ。
That's not true. If he wanted to eat me himself, he had plenty of other opportunities.
でも、キューピッドを深海から連れ去り、その力を封印するだなんて、世界の摂理に反する大罪よ。神がいなくなれば、世界は混沌と化す。誰が欠けてもうまくいかないのよ。それだってのに、キューちゃんは行方不明になっちゃうし。
お前のネックレスの反応が最近復活したからな。わしらは必死に探していたんだ。すぐ消えるから見失ってばかりだったが。
でもさっき、キューピッドの力が定着したでしょ？それでようやく見つけたの。
My powers? No, it's because I got my memories back. That's why Allan was trying so hard to erase my memories. That way I wouldn't have to become Cupid again. And if I wasn't Cupid, I wouldn't have to disappear.
ミネルヴァの水晶玉で見たら、悪魔と一緒にいるんだもの。さすがの私も焦ったわ。本当はミネルヴァに頼りたくなんかなかったけど、大切な娘のためだもの。我慢したのよ。
うん。だからジュピター様が直々にお出ましになったのだ。相手は上級悪魔だ。わしらが出ては人間を巻き込んだ戦いになる。ジュピター様の力に頼るほかない。
I see. Lord Jupiter was just standing there quietly, a step removed. He looked as if he was genuinely sorry for forcing me to come back, but all those merciless thunderbolts. As Mom, Dad, and Aunt Minerva surrounded me, Lord Jupiter just sighed and walked away. Lord Jupiter. Well, that's the last we're going to see of him. I was about to call out to him, but Dad suddenly rested his huge palm on my head.
とにかくキューピッド。お前がいなかったせいで人間界の恋愛模様はめちゃくちゃだ。
What? The Cupid Corp is still around, right?
神がいなければ縁を切ることもできん。あのブライタルアドバイザーとやらが手前勝手に縁結びをした結果、ひどいカップルばかりが誕生したんだ。
Because she wasn't there anymore. What? Is that true?
そうよ。おかげで人間界の恋はめちゃくちゃ。だから私たち一応これでもエロースの代わりができるよう頑張ってたのよ。悪いカップルの男たちを私がこの美貌で魅了したりね。
That's funny.
でも全然うまくいかなかったわ。キューピッドの矢も行方不明だし、すっかり困ってたの。ちょっとミネルヴァ、私の魅了がうまくいかなかったみたいに言わないでくれるかしら。はっ、あら、そんな風に聞こえたかしら。あなたの美しさは十分理解しているから心配しないでちょうだい。
Although I'm even prettier is probably what she was thinking anyway. Ah, right, Cupid's bow. I have it with me now. Did I always have Cupid's bow the whole time I was a human?
おそらくそうだろうな。おかげでキューピッドもキューピッドの矢もなくて、どれほどわしらが苦労したか。まったく神ともあろう者が人間の皮をかぶって神の目を欺くと。
Yeah, because it was totally her fault, right?
ちょっとあなた、エロースは悪い悪魔に引っかかって無理やり人間にさせられてたんじゃない。
Mom, stop. He really isn't a bad demon. Everything he did was to help me.
エロース、悪い男に引っかかった女はみんな同じセリフを言ったわ。
But Allan isn't bad, I swear. He did everything he could to protect me. He just wanted to keep me from disappearing. Mom, Dad, Lady Minerva, can any of you tell me you didn't know I'd be disappearing soon? After I said all that, they all went silent.
No.
Their faces all tightened up, so it was true. I had to get back to Allan, but suddenly Minerva was there blocking my path.
キューちゃん、その悪い悪魔とやらに騙されたのね。なんてかわいそうな子。そんなの悪魔の作ったデタラメよ。自分を信じ込ませるために私たち神は敵だって嘘をついたの。
Allan would never do that.
これを見てもそう言える？
Oh? Huh? This is...
インキュバス、アラン・メルビルのお仲間の悪魔。サキュバスで名前はクラリスティア。あなたのルームメイトも悪魔だったのよ。
What? A succubus? Clarice? What? But she totally did act like a succubus. She'd go out all night, hanging out with different men all the time. She was like a female version of Allan. The reason Clarice never fell in love was because she was a succubus. But even if that's true, it doesn't mean they were trying to deceive me. Both of them treated me so well.
何を寝ぼけたことを言っておる。2匹も悪魔がそばにいて偶然なはずもない。どうせお前を食らうチャンスを狙っていただけだ。
How long are we going to talk about this? Like, you're saying... You keep saying it, and she keeps saying it's not true, and I don't care. So, when are we going to move on from this? But...
エロス、悪魔が神を大切に思うことなんて絶対にありえないのよ。
He wasn't a demon before, so he was something else.
大抵は騙すための還元。都合のいいことばかりあやつらは言いよる。
ファウストのメフィストフェレス、失楽園や新曲のルシファー。あれは本当にあったことよ。キューちゃんが生まれる前のことだからあなたは知らないだろうけど。
All three of them are trying to make Allan out to be the bad guy. They're all part of the Die Constantine, so it's only natural they'd have a bad opinion of demons. But Aunt Minerva always told me demons were nothing back then.
ただろう。君はこのままじゃ消滅する。十二神以外の神は全て使い捨てなんだ。
Alan's words echo through my head. The Diconsistents are so selfish, just like any other adults. They treat younger gods like me like little kids and refuse to share any of their knowledge with us. Allan doesn't seem like he'd lie about Goss disappearing, but Aunt Minerva says that's just what demons do. If Allan is telling the truth, then I'll just get used up and disappear. And obviously the other gods wouldn't want to tell me about that. Asking Mom, Dad, and Aunt Minerva about it is pointless. They'll just hide the truth and tell me nothing. In the end, Lord Jupiter and the other Diconsistents just don't care about us lower gods. And I just can't imagine Allan lying to me like that. He's been watching over me this whole time. If Allan's right, then the gods are all consciously lying to me. I hate that I feel like I can't trust anyone in Celestia. This is the second time I've questioned the nature of the gods. But how are you going to get out of Celestia now? That's what I'm curious about. They're all going to watch you like a hawk. And that's the end. Alone beneath the sky. So the next 3 sections all have no choices, and there's only 3 left. So that's going to be the last chapter, probably. There's probably going to be a lot of good CGs in it, just like Raoul's room, or just had all of them at once. But I'm really happy with what we got. So I can't wait to get this edited and out. And it's already midnight, so it's probably not going to get out tonight. I'll make a post about it just so you guys know. But unfortunately, I was not able to record this during the day like I wanted to. I woke up at 11, I think, and I fell back asleep. So that's my own fault, but still, yeah, if I go to bed at 2, I'm just completely exhausted. Like, I was doing good going to bed between 11 and 12, and then I could wake up and I could stay awake. But yeah, after taking my daughter to school, after having 4 hours of sleep, my eyes just burnt, and I just have to go back to sleep. And then if I go back to sleep in the morning, I just don't get up. But anyway. But if I go to bed now, it's midnight, I can get up and stay up and hopefully get this edited during the day and get it out. We'll see how that goes. That's what I want to do, but what I want to do doesn't always end up what happens. Yeah. So I'm excited that we're like on the last episode now of Allan, and then we get to see the endings, which is going to be extra long because it's going to have the common routes in it, and then we get to go down the secret route, which I can't wait for you guys to see who the secret route is. I'm so excited. For good reason. Also, was there any Chi in this one? Like, I don't remember a Chi at all. Well, she did die like 3 episodes ago, so wasn't very much time for a Chi, I guess. Anyway, if you did like this one, drop a thumbs up down below and or subscribe for more Cupid Parasite and the Cupid Parasite fandoms, which I'm going to be doing after this. But yeah, I look forward to the last episode of Allan, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.